Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another episode of Reflections in Faith, where we pause, we think, and we try to reconnect with the divine layers of our deen. Please excuse me for my voice. I'm just trying to recuperate from this flu. May Allah grant me shifa. Have you ever thought about how we use logic in language? When we say Paul is a man, it's a very neat sentence. But Paul is part of the category men. But if I said man is Paul, that would sound a bit off, because logic says subsets don't define supersets. Yet when we read the Qur'an, that rule seems irrelevant. The Qur'an doesn't just bend grammar, it transcends logic altogether. That's what we're going to explore today. The alogical language of the Qur'an, which is Arabic, and what it teaches us about breaking free from the limitations we've known sort of so long, and how unknowingly we have also placed it on our faith and ourselves. Let's begin with the attribute of Allah, or the name of Allah, Ar-Rahman, the Merciful. So in Arabic, it doesn't just describe Allah as someone with mercy. It is saying Allah is Ar-Rahman, Allah is the Merciful. Now, when we flip this, when we say mercy exists because of Allah, it doesn't sound logical in the human context. The attribute describes the subject, but the subject is the attribute. So when we say mercy is God in everyday language, it might sound wrong or backwards, but in the Quranic worldview, it's pointing to a profound truth. All mercy is from Allah, and all real mercy is Allah's mercy. This isn't metaphorical, it's ontological. It's not just poetic, it's a reality. Classical scholars were acutely aware of this. Scholars such as Ibn Kathir, Imam al-Qutubi, and al-Ghazali wrote extensively on Allah's names, not as labels, but as realities. Take al-Ghazali's view when you say Ar-Razak, which means the sustainer. It's not just a job title or status, it's a statement of exclusive reality. Only Allah sustains. Anything that looks like sustenance from others is merely a reflection of that divine sustenance. Even Arabic grammar allows the Qur'an to do things no modern language would tolerate. Shifting pronouns mid-sentence, starting with a verb, dropping subjects, fronting emphasis, and it breaks form, but it never loses meaning. Why? Because Arabic is a divine language. We live in an age where everything must make sense in a very neat box, a neat framework. It needs to be linear, logical, predictable, and quantifiable. But the Quran doesn't care for that. It doesn't say, understand me, then believe. It says, believe, and then you will understand. La rayba fi hudan lil muttaqin. In Surah Al-Baqarah verse 2, which means this is the book in which there is no doubt. Guidance for those who are mindful of Allah. Not proof, not data, but guidance. Not for analysts, but for muttaqin, those with taqwa. This is what scholars like Ibn Arabi and Rumi meant when they said, logic is a veil. The Quran doesn't answer to logic. It unmasks it. Let's bring this closer to home. We live in an era where we box ourselves into systems. Education makes us memorize answers rather than seeking wisdom. Economics and finance tells us success means constant consumption and productivity. Technology measures our value in our clicks and our likes. And before we know it, our faith becomes boxed too. We treat prayer like a checklist. We want instant feedback from dua. We only feel connected if something happens. But here is the thing. Allah doesn't operate in our boxes. Tawheed, the oneness of Allah, is not an intellectual puzzle. It's a radical reorientation of the soul. It's saying, I submit even when I don't understand. Taqwa is not ticking halal, haram boxes like a machine. It's about living in full awareness that Allah sees beyond what we see, and therefore, we trust Him beyond what we understand. So maybe the alogical language of the Qur'an is Allah's way of saying, unbox your soul. Stop trying to fit divine truth into worldly spreadsheets. Don't reduce your spiritual journey to KPIs and comparisons. Reassess. Ask the questions. What are you really serving? What's really shaping your time, your thoughts, your values? Because if it's not Allah, it's a distraction. We fall into debt, call it success. We follow our desires and call it freedom. We trade Tawheed for convenience and don't even notice it. But the Qur'an, in its form, in its language, in its cadence, is calling you back. Not just to understand it or comprehend it, but to actually surrender to it. O Allah, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, guide us back to you. Strip away the illusions we have built around ourselves. Break the boxes we've placed on our hearts. Let our taqwa be real, our tawheed be unshaken, and our lives a reflection of your guidance. Ameen. Ameen, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Until the next time, this is Fahad Umar for Reflections in Faith. Stay reflective, stay rooted, and may peace and blessings be upon you all. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.